Though I was late with my previous month's first time watches ranking, I decided to go ahead and give y'all my ranking of the first time watches for the month of May 2022 right now. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D, back with another ranking. Today I'm going to rank my first time watches of May 2022. Now, as you heard me correctly just a bit ago, I was late in getting my April 2022 first time watches ranking. Because I had some errors in it and what have you, which it came up earlier this month. But now I'm going to try and make this up and give you all the first time watches for this month, May 2022, up before I do the rewatches, since I watched 2 movies less than the rewatches. I watched 28 films for the first time ever. So now I'm going to go rapid fire on the first 7 movies, which will be from 28 to number 6, okay? Now, if you're ready, let's get into this ranking. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Number 28 is the Firestarter remake, which came out this month. This didn't do so well at the box office, considering it got dissed big time. The film's, well, factually okay, but it's not as good as the original 1984 film, which we'll see where that winds up on the rewatches ranking. Cast was except for the little girl and what have you, played Charlie. That was pretty decent, but still not really a great remake though. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of it, check it out. It's already done pretty well. Number 27 is Hall Pass from 2011. Now this film's directed by the Farley brothers, the same guys who gave us Dumb and Dumber. There's something about Mary and many others. This film did okay. I'd seen a tiny bit of it on TV, but not all of it. This film's okay. It's not really one of the Farley's brads, even though it has a couple of good performances in Owen Wilson and Jason Sudeikis. Yeah, it's just an okay, macho flick and what have you, or should I say a buddy flick, you know. Number 26 is Marmaduke. This recent Netflix animated feature based on the long-running comic strip. Well, I think it's okay and all. It does have some funny moments. It's almost a little better than the live-action film, but it's still not really great, though. I didn't want to do a review of it because I didn't think anybody would like this or not. This film's fair and what have you, but it's not really one of the greats. Oh well, they still did their extreme best though. Number 25 is Three Ninjas Knuckle Up from 1995. Now, although the film was actually produced in 1993, a year after the first film, this was to be the second film, but they went with Kickback, which we'll see where that winds up. And you'll see the original on the rewatches ranking. This one's okay, and what have you. I know this franchise does not get a lot of respect these days, but I think Three Ninjas has gained a bit of a cult following. The film's pretty fun and what have you. Maybe not one of the best, but I gotta say it has its moments. Number 24 is Drop Dead Fred from 1991. This one's kind of an oddball flick and what have you. And, well, it's kind of nutsoid. I did like Phoebe Cates' performance in this. The guy who plays the titular character isn't that bad, but this film's kind of weird and odd and what have you. But it did have some moments that kind of creeped me out a little, but some of it was pretty funny though. Number 23 is Three Ninjas Kickback from 1994. Now, this was actually the second film, but it would be the third to be produced. Well, after that. So this got released first before Knuckle Up. This film's got some fun moments and what have you. I will say that the ninjas take on a group of baddies who try and cause a bit of pollution, what have you. And, well, that's all I can tell you. This was also, the only film in the franchise to even have a video game. I've seen the gameplay of it, the Super Nintendo game. Yeah, it's okay. The film's not too bad, though. Number 22 is Three Ninjas, High Noon and Mega Mountain from 1998. And I know this is the worst of the film franchise, as critics say, but this one's, well, reasonably okay and what have you. With Hulk Hogan in this, and plus Lonnie Anderson, and the late great Jim Varney in one of his last few films for his death in 2000. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm probably going to get a lot of controversy for having this higher than the other two sequels. But this film was kind of pretty fun, though. But you don't have to take my word for it, though. I definitely need to try to defend this franchise one day if I do decide to defend it. Number 21 is Eli Roth's Hostel Part 2 from 2007. And after seeing the first film earlier this year, I decided to give this one a try. And, well, it's pretty bloody and gory in ways, but I kind of like the first one a little more. But I may give it another try another time. But you might get to see a review of this in the first one sooner or later. And I haven't seen the direct-to-video third one, though. We'll see what happens. I mean, got girls at time to get tortured at the hostel, so yeah. Number 20 is the 355, which came out earlier this year. This chick flick didn't do too well at the box office, considering it also got dissed. But I am going to try to do a spoiler-free review of this later on next month to make up for lost time. I recently watched this on Peacock's. I got premium again for a little while. Yeah, this film's kind of hit or miss in what have you. It's fine and all, but it does have a bit of slowing down and what have you with its action, what have you. But it does have some real cool action moments in some parts. You'll find out why when I review this film. Number 19 is Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror from 2007. This was part of the Grindhouse duology that came out. We'll see where the other film winds up, which was Death Proof. Yeah, this film's pretty gruesome and what have you. Even though it has a pretty good cast that includes Rose McGowan, Josh Brolin, and Marley Shelton, and a host of others. This film's just so, whoa, killer and brutal. Yeah, taking out a bunch of zombies and what have you. Yeah, really something. Number 18 is The Hunt from 2020. Now, this film was pretty bloody and what have you. This film unfortunately didn't do too well at the box office since this was unfortunately released at the last minute once the pandemic even struck. Anyway, still, it does have a pretty good cast and what have you, and I really got to enjoy some of it for what it was. It was just, wow, so suspenseful, but pretty cool with the kills and what have you. And was pretty gory in some parts as well. Number 17 is Stephen King's Cat's Eye from 1985. This film's okay. I mean, it's a anthology and what have you. In ways, the first story was pretty good. The second one was okay, and the third one was kind of a mixed bag since it had Drew Barrymore in it. And I will say her performance in that bit wasn't too bad and what have you. I'll think of reviewing this sometime down the road. Yeah. Number 16 is Stay Alive from 2006. That film was pretty good. Even though it was a PG-13 rated horror flick, this was about a group of kids who not kids, but teens who get involved in a mysterious video game where if your character dies in the game, then so do you. This was really something. I liked the sound of the story, and I watched it. And, well, the movie's not too bad. It does have some pretty good performances, especially, surprisingly, Frankie Muniz. Yeah. Number 15 is Creepshow 2 from 1987. This is an anthology flick. It had some pretty good scary stuff. I watched this in the first one. We'll see where that winds up. This film's, well, pretty good. Well, it wasn't quite as big as its predecessor. It was still pretty good in what have you. One of the good stories in it was called The Raft. I'll talk about when I review the film later on. I think I'll do this for Spooktacular October this year along with the first one. It's pretty good. Creepshow 2. Yeah, pretty good. Number 14 is Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof from 2007. This is the other Grindhouse flick, and I thought it was pretty awesome and what have you. Kurt Russell is pretty cool in this, and the girls in this weren't too bad. It's pretty good, and I gotta say, the car is really awesome, and this is just one heck of a flick. And you don't have to take my word for it. I kind of like this a little more than Planet Terror, but nevertheless, they're both good. But I like Death Proof for what it was. It was killer, and that's all I'm saying. Number 13 is Ambulance, which recently came to Peacock after after it came to theaters last month. This film from Michael Bay did okay, but not great though. I will do a spoiler-free review of this next month as well. While it does have a pretty decent cast, that includes Jake Gyllenhaal, Yahya Mateen, Abdul Mateen, yeah, that's it, Abdul Mateen the second. Yeah, this film's got its moments. Its story is fair and what have you, but the action sequences were pretty darn awesome. So anyway, expect a review of this next month. Number 12 is Candyman from last year. This film is in a way a sequel to the 1992 film. I will be reviewing that later on this year. I will review this as well. It'll probably be spoiler free. I watched this on Prime as it came there since it premiered on Epix, and well, of course, Amazon now has MGM. Well, I mean owns them. This film's pretty reasonable. It's not too bad. I mean, the performances weren't too bad. Yahya Abdul Mateen II was also in this film. We do get to hear the voices of Tony Todd and Regina Madsen, both of the original film. Yeah. Anyway, this film wasn't too bad. Number 11 is Senior Year. This recent Netflix film that starred Rebel Wilson as a gal who awakens from a 20-year coma after her character's younger self, gets knocked out, after falling to the ground in a cheerleading incident at school. She wakes up 20 years later and learns that things have changed, and she decides to go back to school to finish her senior year. This film might not have gotten Craig's attention, but I liked it though. It was pretty fun and what have you. It had some pretty good tunes and what have you. So enough said. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of it, check it out. Number 10 is Creepshow from 1982. Yeah, I had thought about seeing this film and what have you, and since it came on Peacock, I finally watched it, and well, it's not too bad of a film for an anthology flick and what have you. With being done by George A. Romero and Stephen King, this film's pretty good. It has some good stories. I'll review this film later on for Spooktacular October. This is not too bad of a flick. It's kind of a mixed bag, but still pretty good though. Number 9 is Marry Me, which came out earlier this year on Valentine's Day. This film, I didn't know what to think of it, but after watching it on Peacock, I gotta say it wasn't as bad as I thought it would. I will do a spoiler-free review of this as well next month. J-Lo is really good in this, and I had thought she'd be. Her and Owen Wilson, wow, incredible. Yeah, don't hate me for saying it, but I thought this film wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, Marry Me, it's not too bad. Number 8 is Mr. Mom from 1983. This film's pretty darn funny. I mean, I've been having thoughts of watching this, but this early film of Michael Keaton's career is really something. He's absolutely very funny. It just had so many fun moments. Terry Garr's pretty good in this, and these kids are absolutely really funny too. I had a blast watching this. I might review this film sometime. Number 7 is Sneakerella, which recently came on Disney Plus. At first, I didn't know what I'd think of this film, but after I watched the trailer before watching this, I thought it wasn't too bad. It's kind of a reversed take. Well, not a reverse, but a new take on Cinderella. Only involves a guy who makes some really cool sneakers in hopes of becoming, well, the next big thing with princess and what have you. Yeah, it was pretty good. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of this, you must check it out. Number 6 is ZZ Top, that little band from Texas from 2019. This documentary film focuses on the early years going into their big dates when they released their big album Eliminator. This was pretty good. I really got to see the guys, well, especially when Dusty Hill was still around. Of course, we sadly lost him last year, but I gotta say, this is really something. If you're a ZZ Top fan, this is a documentary you might want to check out. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was disappointed it didn't go into any more of their stuff after Eliminator, but even so, I think this was still good. Okay, I sure am glad you're still with me so far, everybody, and I hope you've been enjoying this. Now it's time for the top 5, and I've really got to see some really cool flicks and some that was even surprising than what I could imagine. Yep. I've seen lots of flicks that were pretty good, more good than bad, and what have you. Anywho, this was just not too bad of a month. So, anyway, let's get back on to the ranking, and of course, you'll see me back up once I introduce the remaining 5 movies. So, if you're ready, let's continue with the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Chibinell Rescue Rangers. Now, this was kind of a big surprise to me. There was one thing I failed to bring up in my spoiler-free review of it is, if you haven't seen it yet, this film is meta in ways, yes. But anywho, I really enjoyed it. It was kind of made me feel like I was watching a new modern-day version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit in ways. It does have a pretty good voice acting cast that include John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, who voiced the 2 titular characters, plus Will Arnett, Eric Bana, Seth Rogen, and many others. I will say this is pretty good. Taking place years after their show had ended, and I'm just going to tell you, this film was just so wow. Kiki Lane, who plays Ellie, the detective gal who joins the 2 chipmunks on their big adventure. Yeah, she was pretty good too. So I gotta say, this is pretty fun and what have you. And if you haven't seen my review of it yet, check it out if you haven't. Because Chibinell Rescue Rangers, the movie was not too bad than I had anticipated. Really good. Now, coming in at number 4 is Unearthed and Untold, The Path to Pet Cemetery from 2017. Now, after I revisited the film, which we'll see where that winds up on the rewatches ranking, this was a documentary film, where we get a look back at how the film came to be. I was surprised by seeing everyone who worked on this, the people who were still surviving, like Dale Midkiff, Denise Crosby, Brad Greenquist, director Mary Lambert, even Blaise Berdal, well, she's kind of, in a way, Garone, and her sister Bo, because they both play different versions of Ellie Creed in that movie. But I gotta say, Miko Hughes who played Gage in the film. Wow, he's changed big time if you haven't seen this. I mean, if you are a fan of the Pet Sematary movie, the original, then this film would be right up your alley. I'll think of reviewing this film maybe later on. I rarely would do review films like this, but this, I think I'll make an exception. I watched the film on Tubi. It should still be on there. But I'm gonna say you definitely gotta check this out. It's really something. I really did enjoy this documentary film. Very good. And coming in at number 3 is Oliver from 1968. Now, I've been wanting to see this film for some time. I know this film was pretty big, and, well, this was a pretty good musical. And after hearing, well, different versions of 2 of the songs from that film, which were Food, Glorious Food, and Consider Yourself in episodes of Zoom, I knew I had to see this film big time. But this also had lots of other musical numbers as well. I really love the performances we got from everyone, including Jack Wilde, who played the Artful Dodger. Of course, he'd go on to play Jimmy on H.R. Puffin stuff after this. I really liked Ron Moody as Fagin, and Oliver Reed as Bill Sykes. Everyone was pretty good. I definitely gotta review this film sometime down the road. This would be a pretty good one. But I gotta say but I really did enjoy the performance of young Mark Lester, who played the title character. What can I say? Oliver is really a great film, and I really like it. It was very fun. Great music and great characters. Enough said about it. I'm not telling you anymore until I review this film. And now for the final 2. This was a tough decision to make because we got, well, a long overdue sequel and a big, well, comic book flick that's really kind of shocked the audiences. So please don't hate me, but this is how I decided. Kind of made up my mind up at the last minute. So coming in at number 2 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, this long-awaited sequel to the 2016 film of Doctor Strange was really awesome. Sam Raimi's direction was really good. We once again got good performances from Benedict Cumberbatch. Rachel McAdams is back in this. So it's Benedict Wong. We have Elizabeth Olsen back as Scarlet Witch, who really shocked us big time with her performance. Really something. Of course, the film took place after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. But anyway, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was awesome. I don't care what anybody says, this film was a blast. I really did have a fun experience in watching this film. And well, if it does come to Disney Plus, then maybe, mind you, I may revisit this film. I don't know if I'll do it if it comes later on next month, or I just might give it a few months or so tops. And then maybe, mind you, I will revisit the film. But this was just so wow. Now, I know that other multiverse film that recently came out, Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I failed to go to see it. But if it does, when it gets released on physical media, or if it's available to rent for a reasonable price, then maybe, mind you, I will look into it, okay? I know that film's gotten some real good response and what have you, but in the meantime, you got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Enough said. And finally, coming in at number 1, my number 1 first-time watch of May 2022 is Top Gun Maverick, which just now came to theaters, and it's already become a big hit. I've learned it's opened with 124 million. That's more than any other Tom Cruise film has opened with to date, surpassing Mission Impossible Fallout. I will say that Cruise was definitely superb in this. And if you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of this, which it's already been scorching a path up the charts, well, in the views, but I'm starting to get too many draws in my review. Please help me out before I give my gold, silver, and bronze big D's tomorrow, okay? Because there's too many ties in my review, so look through my vids and break these ties, okay? Well, at least I hope. Except maybe for one. I might accept one draw, okay? But enough about that. I will say that Top Gun Maverick was just so awesome. It's a big step up from the original film, and it has a real good cast in my view. Aside from Cruise, we've got Jennifer Connelly, Miles Teller, and some of the cast members of the original are back. Well, a few of them. No, not too many. Val Kilmer's among one of them. But anyway, Top Gun Maverick is so awesome. This is a flick you need to see. I think you'll enjoy this a lot more than the original. You have my word. And again, if you haven't seen my spoiler-free review of it, you check it out. Okay, I'll leave you the card up when I end this video. Okay, so now you know what my favorite. Well, now you know what my first time watches for May 2022 are. What did you think of this ranking? What films did you watch for the month of May 2022 for the first time? Tell me your top favorite, or you can give me your top 3 or top 5 tops if you'd like in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned, the rewatches ranking will be coming up first before I do my schedule, okay? So that way I can give everybody enough time to give a last minute watch of some of the videos and possibly break the ties on some of these videos, okay? Alright, now, if you'd like, you can check out my spoiler-free reviews for 3 of the movies in the top 5 that I've mentioned. In the upper left-hand corner is the one I did for Top Gun Maverick. The upper right-hand corner is the one I did for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And the bottom left-hand corner is the one I did for Chibinell Rescue Rangers. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.